everyone. Welcome to your Moon in Libra reading. God bless you. This reading is going to be for the Moon in Libra, which, according to different sources, starts on January 12th or January 13th and extends to around January 15th. And either way, you know how it goes with these energies. They come in, they stay, they leave, they do what they want to do. And in fact, you don't have to have any Libran placements, and you don't actually have to be watching at the time that I am saying this video, doing this video, this transmission, because if it's found you, then so it is. All right, I would like to let you guys know that you're awesome, but I feel like you already know that. What's this? Communication. The guides are just coming through right now. Okay. Whew. Let's take a moment. If you like me and or you like the content that we put out here, then please go ahead and make sure that you press the heart button, ding, if you're on Instagram, or press the like button, ding, if you're on YouTube, okay? And thanks. That kind of, I think that helps, you know, getting my Capricorn energies in here, trying to actually use the system to actually improve my viewership, although we know that God directs everything. My clients, my money, my viewership, everything. So anyway, before we jump in, I'd like to give you guys a song that's coming in. And I'm afraid that my voice is just the way it is. We're just going to do what we can. But here it is. You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. Carefree's coming out. 'Cause your friends don't dance. And if they don't dance, they ain't no friends of mine. Now, I love that song, okay? I love it, especially the version by Sleeping at Last. That's the name of it, of the band. But may I just say, remember when you, it's so interesting because I almost said remember the month of November. November taught us, in all of its scorpionic energies, November taught us that we can step into greatness without just cutting off energies, right? Now, understandably, we do need to create distance and separation and to cut cords when they need to be, but a lot of times when we move into doing cuttings like that from an imbalanced place, then that's where the issue starts to come. Remember, yes, cut off toxicity, but you being friends and connecting with people in your life doesn't mean that they have to be and do everything that you want them to do, right? Because once you get into that territory, if you're not careful and you're not coming from the heart, you're going to miss the boat, and you may miss out on something wonderful. All right, so let me go ahead, lay some groundwork here. Usually I like to, look at this. Libra, yep. Usually I like to lay the cards ahead of time for the moon readings just to cut down on time, but I needed to sing that song because it was coming through, okay? So here we go. If you'd like to fast forward, you can do that. That's you. All right. Thanks, guys. Wow, special dispensation coming out. So some of you are really, I gotta keep it 100. Some of you are really being treated to some rewards right now. I'm getting a lot of rewards. The guides are like karmic rewards, right? In the sense that you may have done some things in the past that are now being doled out. If you've been following our channel, then you realize that this is also a time where just karma in general is being made manifest in the physical. For some people, there are experiences of karmic debts. For some, there are experiences of karmic rewards. And for some, there are just both. So either way, it's a balancing of the scales. I do feel like I do want to make a quick nod for somebody here that watch for any love bombing if you are delving into something new right now with somebody. I also want to give you a firm hug and remind you, how could you? We are in Mercury retrograde. You know better. Okay, you know better than that. But hey, karmic, lessons, they come. But, when we do enter into these karmic things during Mercury retrograde, starting love, relationships, starting all sorts of stuff, then, you know, you're kind of asking for it to be temporary and for it to be just there to really rock the boat. Okay, now I see the card values here and I see woven here. Remember, Spirit has been really talking about laying the groundwork for the life that you would like to have come into being, because right now we are in a major manifestation time. Now, don't get fooled, guys. Remember, they said this going like in November, they were like, hey, we're entering into deep freeze. I don't know if you guys remember. Does anyone remember these messages to come through? Because I do, right? They talked about deep freeze and they said, but don't be fooled. There's a lot of work going on in these deep freezes. It was around the time when they talked about some people going over bridges, some people taking tunnels, but it doesn't matter. When you come out of this respective period, you're going to be on the same land, right? This is why you don't want to act the fool. Don't act the fool, because, you know, it's kind of like, you know, cursing someone out at the stoplight because they made a drive that got you upset, and then boom, you guys meet at the next stoplight. Now you gotta look at them. Or you can pretend that you have to do anything else in your car but look left or right and look at them, right? So just remember, right? Remember, they're saying remember the month of November, yeah. Because it's another song's coming through by our girl Natalie Cole, her version. Remember this one? Always remember, my friend, Omen, the world will change again. Illumination. And you may have to go back, nature, to everywhere you've been. Yup, been there, done that, okay? Fickle, weren't we just talking about this? Literally, this is the rug that's about to be pulled out. The rug being pulled out, by the way, from under your feet, especially when you, enter into certain things with people at certain times and just whatnot. Remember, it's all for the sake of learning. When something comes into our sphere of influence, you can bet there's a karmic situation going on if you can't help but run towards this thing and get involved with it. Or if you can't help but run away from it, you want no part of that. If you're on either end of a spectrum there, that's in the DTM, doing too much territory. That's when it's like, wow, thou doth protesteth too much, right? Because remember, balance is karma. Karma is balance. It's just there to help you neutralize an electric charge that is just doing way too much around a certain energy. The energy manifest in the form of in form, and that form could take the form of a person, place, thing, situation, idea, whatever it is. That's what energy is. So when we are releasing people and releasing things and situations, we will repeat the same cycle if we don't address the energy, the energetic template that's underneath those forms. Form can only take shape in the physical when there is a non-physical structure or form in the ethers, in the non-physical. So that's what we heal. That's what we work on. So when I see the so sometimes when these retrogrades come around, they really bring these existing energies that we thought were done before, these existing templates, these structures that we have inside, these blockages, which are basically fear-based core beliefs that exist in the form of blockages in our energetic field. What do? They distort the flow of light. That's why the light comes in, it's like all over, or just sometimes just not getting to a certain place, creating atrophy within the physical body, and that's just a whole thing. Then we're getting into the role of the physical ailments and accidents and things like that to that corresponding part of the body. But this is when you have these retrogrades that occur, all this stuff bubbles up. So just because your ex is reaching out to you or something's happening doesn't mean you have to get back together with this person. Something comes to you as a new opportunity during these times. Excuse me, not getting caught up in that. Let me hold on to this. Let me sit it out. Let me think about it before I make any moves, and I will deal with you later. Right? And if you're not here to wait for me to get myself together and to feel ready to strike, then what are we doing? But I do see some rug being pulled out from under people once these retrograde energies, Mars, and which is, I think, pretty much over it, not going direct now, and Mercury. Remember, just because a planet goes direct doesn't mean that the scent, the fragrance, the essence of the retrograde is not in the air yet. In fact, Mercury retrograde, I believe, is going to be over on the 18th officially. However, the storm, as they call it, or the shadow of it, will be for reals done around the 24th, right? So same way, Mars goes direct on the 12th, I believe, and so it's going to start picking back up as we move forward. But it's not just out the gates, so just be mindful of that. But when we have these rugs pulled from under us, the great value that we do is we get to see what's underneath our fragmentation. What's going on? What should I have done better? What could I have done better? Where did I, sometimes we're just left with the emotions and the feelings, and we may have to reach out to people, like me, your friendly local reader, or a friend, a trusted, objective friend or family member, or religious leader, or whoever it is that you hold dear, a mentor or something. You can also reach out to your higher self. You can do journaling. But for whatever it is, you may need some assistance in seeing what that fragmentation is and what lies underneath the fragmentation. Right underneath the fragmentation, we have the word clarity, right? The clarity. So people are always trying to dodge well, there are so many examples, but they're saying dodgeball, right? People are always trying to dodge the ball, right? Because it hurts. But then when it hits you, guess what? You get some knowledge. Oh, well, what did I do this time that made me be susceptible to this ball coming like 60 miles an hour? This third grader is like putting too much on it, right? What are they feeding them, right? But anyway, here, it also gets to show you, they're saying, what your values are. What are your values? Are you a kind person? Are you sweet? Are you like compassionate? You can listen. Kindness is not weakness. You can still say no. You can say no, thank you. You could say no, I need time for myself. No, this is not okay. There are ways for you to stand up for yourself, to assert yourself, to be about something in this world, to be effective without needing to rake someone else across the coals. Listen, if you are placing yourself in a position to do that, or if for whatever reason it happens, then just know that, well, maybe there is going to be some type of repercussion, and you can take it up with the karmic board later, because there may be or may not be, I don't know how these things work, a discussion. Because I will tell you this, when I read people's loving energies, when I lovingly read people's energies, some of the energies aren't so loving in the way that it's coming up, right? But when I read them, a lot of times we see that the person may have thought this was a choice, and it wasn't a choice. It was deliberate, that they had to go through that situation in just the way that they went through it for the sake of learning. And here they are guilting themselves, shaming themselves for having made a choice or not having been able to avoid it, right? And it's like, why? Don't do that. Don't worry about it. And then by the opposite, some people think I had no choice. I did what I had to do. I did what I felt. Okay, I know you felt that, but when we look at your feelings, we look deeper inside, we see you were running on some fear-based thinking, fear-based energies, fear-based beliefs, and those beliefs colored your view in a way that now you had a friend, you looked at them, you saw an enemy. You had husband-wife material, you looked at them, you saw friend zone. Or you saw competition, or you saw God knows what. You had parents who didn't love you or loved you, and if they didn't love you, but yet you still kept letting them in because you saw mommy, daddy, or they were loving and they were just doing the best they could to help you. But when you saw them, you saw failures, right? So the point is, just because you think you're feeling something, thinking something, and all this, and it makes sense to you, if your core belief is not one of love, what are we doing? And so that's why if you take the time in your life to really, you don't have to take forever, right? If you take the time in your life to really take a look at what it is that you're doing, why you're doing it, and what's driving this. It's the driving. What is the what's the material in the engine? What's driving this engine? Your core beliefs. That takes time. It takes self-inquiry. It's fragmentation, but when you start to pay attention to it, you can start to glean, well, what are my beliefs? What am I believing so strongly, wittingly or unwittingly, that it led me to see what I did as valuable as just, as kind, as compassionate, as self-loving. All these things, these words are meaningless if the energy is not fresh, so to speak. You're going to see it wrongly. That's what it's called. That's why it's called misperception, right? But we're not looking for perfection down here. We're looking for progress. So we're not comparing you to Timothy or whoever, God bless, right? We're comparing you to who you were. This is all. You're in a reality that is of your own making, right? And the more you see that, the more you heal the inner distortions, the more you will start to realize you are in control of your fate. Now, whether you do that this lifetime and awaken to that is truly up to you. God bless. Bless your buttons, right? You can do it this time. You can do it another time. You can do it whenever. As A Course in Miracles says, it's a required course. It's only the time that you choose to do it that's optional. Any lifetime you want, you can awaken into this understanding that you are the creator of your own reality. But the longer you choose to stay in victim consciousness, martyr consciousness, low poverty consciousness, all of this stuff, all you're doing is you're mistaking your own projections for reality around you. And then on top of that, you're unable to see that the reality is a projection. You're still attributing it to other people. Well, he did this and he literally said that and they did that. And okay, yeah, but you have to understand your ability to dream and create is so strong that you've literally dreamed yourself into a physical incarnation. And so that's the kind of level of awareness that the guides that are coming through my channel and the work that I do is trying to wake people up to. Now, if this material is for you, then it's for you and you can have some value in it. If tomorrow you wake up and you're like, it's not for me anymore, that's fine. Then guess what? Something else may be for you, right? But either way, we have to consider, well, what's going on? They're so funny because they're like, Jonelle, you've been asking about luck. And I have been asking about luck. I'm like, is that like a real thing? Hold on, let me take a sip. Is luck like a free agent kind of energy that spirit's just like, and it's roaming the planet and it just chooses its next person? How does luck happen? Or is luck a bubbling up like a little bit of a geyser in your energetic chart where, you know, all of your actions across time and place, they converge to create bubbles of great times and not great times? I have no idea. But they're saying here, they're still saying it's of your own making, your own choosing. Now, my next question is like, okay, well, who's choosing? Clearly, it's not me at the conscious level because I'm just trying to be on that luck game. You know, I'm trying to get lucky in any way. Hello, right? But Spirit is like, don't worry about it. What do we do, guys, when we just don't know? What did the guides tell us in the past? They said, when you don't know what to do, when you can't see around corners, when you are limited in your perception, as we all are, myself included, hello, what we can do is step into as much, say it with me, ideological flexibility as possible. What does that mean? That means do not hold fast to any one ideology. Understand that, you know, sometimes you are being given a way of seeing something just to take you into the next step, to unravel something else in your brain, to give you an unfolding so that you can then step into the next level of consciousness for you, right? So one of the things that we keep trying to do is make permanency out of something that is not permanent. So for example, when we have a new way of learning or a new ideology presented to us, sometimes we're so afraid of getting into step with that ideology or delving into it deeply because we carry this idea that, oh, now I'm in it and so now I have to be about it and this has to be my new thing. No. What if it's just designed to hang around you for the next week and a half because your spirit guides want you to take advantage of something that's coming into your life and they want you to get into the right vibrational pattern? We don't know. And so you do yourself a good service when you can allow yourself to remain open, when you can trust in your ability to be a positive force in the world, and you trust in your ability to be a positive force in the world when you remember that the glory of God flows through you, that it is you, it reveals itself in you, and all of that stuff. And you take stock of the virtues. You really try to be about virtuous movements in this world. And remember, just because someone says they're generous doesn't actually mean they're generous, right? And just because you think you're generous doesn't actually mean you're generous. You may have other motivations that you're not aware of. And that's why it behooves you to work with spirit. Alrighties? Alrighty, boos? Alright, so let's jump in a little bit more. That was a little bit long there. You and your loved ones are safe. That's great. Why did I just had a real New York accent kind of come through. I mean, maybe not to our ears, but psychically the impression came through. So that's for somebody here, right? For somebody here, you look at this card, is like really trying to get going. This fire energy. So it's someone here may be really trying to start some things turning, but getting things off the ground. Maybe you're having second thoughts because you're like, oh, I'm so antsy right now and I know what I want to do, but I'm just trying to get it done and it's not happening. I would like you to know that patience is a real thing. I'm not saying that in a facetious way, because it came out, patience is a real thing, but actually energetically in my mind, I wanted to say the delay right now, or the ask for patience right now, is a real thing. So if you keep thinking, this is another example of wrong perception. Wrong perception will have you thinking that you're working too slowly, you're not getting things ready on time, that you're not creating conditions for your own needs to be met. Here you are, the archer, trying to, pull back that bow, and it's like, come on. Well, it's my fault. What's wrong? But he doesn't realize that it's not lit up yet. He can't see quite yet. You may have Leo placements, whoever you are, but you definitely have fire placements that are really ready to go. And so Spirit is saying sometimes it's not time to strike. It's not time to strike, whether it's with a bow and arrow or to strike a match. And there's real reasons for it. It could be literally as simple as all the spirit teams of the people on earth, including you, who are supposed to work on this project over time. Some of them are just not ready yet. Some of them literally need 3 more months to get ready. Somebody in this group may need 3 more years to get ready. Here you are ready now. You're like, tell me when to go. What's going on? Sometimes you may actually not be ready. You think you're ready, but you haven't done some work within, and the guides are like, hey, why don't you focus on you instead of them? But also sometimes you may be ready, but you haven't realized that you are not working alone. You're doing something that requires teamwork, and it's not the right time for a very good reason. So then the question is, maybe the question isn't that the question you should be asking isn't like, tell me when to go, like what's happening. It's about, Spirit, how best can I use my time, my energy, my resources in this present moment? See how that takes us out of this perception of future with form. Future with form is like, I see myself at a future time doing this, that with this person. That's form. You're superimposing form onto something that doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a future. There's only the present moment. It is only you creator being, who chooses to create a reality in your mind that's not real, that tells you there's a past and there's a future. Just in the same way that with a movie, you're choosing through your senses, your physical world senses, to see a continuity, beginning and ending, a continuum. There's no beginning and ending in a movie. There is, in a sense, in the physical sense, but if you grasp it in the way Spirit is trying to say, it's just frame after frame coming together, right? And that's it. That's all you're seeing, frame after frame being highlighted. So you're in this present moment. So in this present moment, if you feel like something is closed off to you, or whether you don't or not, you remain open, you remain ideologically flexible, and you ask every morning, hi, higher self, hi. You can even give your higher self a name if you want, do you? And you just ask, what is the highest and purest use of my energy today? And I guarantee you, if you really start to tap into that and you flow with that, you might find that all the stuff you've been wanting to do and then some will get done. Okay? Because there's no rush, there's no push, there's no pull, there's no fretting, there's no worrying, there's no, yeah? Focus on your uniqueness and be original. Super cute. Another message for somebody here is you're trying to put something out into the world that doesn't necessarily have your stamp on it yet. It's almost like, yeah, you could be doing this job. You're right that this is the project or the job or the opportunity that you're going to be getting into, but it's not quite right yet because you haven't put enough of you into it. Spirit is saying, see how this cute little ball? It's Earth. And then here you are trying to put a ball to this is what you need to go to, having a distinct, see how there are two balls but this one looks really different. You're not trying to create this ball and then make the same ball somewhere else. It's like this exists. You're not trying to make it over here and then over here. No, it could be this, but then you make this, right? So you put your stamp on it. So Spirit may be asking you to step more into your creativity. I know right now you may be like, well, there are certain things I want to do that can help me to flesh out these ideas. Now, yeah, it may not be time, right? Now, I do want to point out that, remember, this is all about the moon in Libra. We're looking at the moon in Libra, but these are energies that are in the air. These are things that are going on, dynamics. And the guides are saying, are you noticing that a lot of these things have to do with interrelationships? Yeah. You know, sometimes, remember, we have to just remember it's not about us, especially during a time like this with this moon. And then we're all trying to build and we're trying to dream, and we're not dreaming and building things that are going to be owned, operated, and executed and all that by ourselves. We have other people. And so even though we're hunkering down by ourselves and kind of working on things and trying to flesh them out, we do have to leave grace. We do have to leave space as well, and opportunity for other people. I'm seeing, God bless you, a flesh wound here for somebody. Are you okay? This is what I'm seeing. I don't know what part of the body. Is it the forearm or the elbow? I just heard the word elevator. Is this for somebody? Let me take a sip while I feel into why they're showing me that. Interesting. If you're having elbow stuff go on, or there's a flesh wound that's on the forearm close to the elbow or just whatever, and there's an elevator, especially if there's an elevator thing, it doesn't have to be, by the way, guys. It could be more than one of you. Spirit doesn't mince words. I'm being told that you may not recognize, but that this wound is a physical manifestation of unresolved energies with a sibling that you may not have been able to, what's the word? I don't want to say have closure with, and maybe this person left, maybe this person, this could also be from another lifetime, by the way, right? Maybe, and this doesn't feel like it's necessarily like leaving or being angry, having, you know, I don't know, really, that just depends on who you are and what your personal story is, your details. That's the realm of a personal reading. But it feels like, it feels a little bit like missing this person. Like, I'm missing my sibling, I'm missing this person in my life. So you may actually be missing somebody who may not actually be your sibling in this lifetime, but in another lifetime they were, right? Or just whatever this is a resonance. It's also a call to go home. Some of you are feeling like I almost said fearing, right? Some of you are feeling like all extra disconnected at this time under this moon in Libra and just in general, right? And that's okay. We understand, right? But and for some of you now, they're all shifting this to show me, for some of you, this is also missing home. Some of you are feeling like, I just want to go home. Home meaning etherically on the other side, because Earth is not your home. God bless, right? It's home away from home, yeah. But the guides are saying that that's because you are not cultivating creation in a way that you can get glimpses of home and feel that way. In other words, what are your spiritual practices? What are you doing to really give you that sense of home, right? If you're depriving yourself of having belief, for example, or in the mystical, or if you're just immersing yourself in too much of the material and you're not allowing yourself to dream, to feel, to all of these things that connect you to, well, connection, then guess what? Of course you're going to be feeling alone, but no one is alone. No one is alone on this planet. Even the non-physical beings that are kind of choosing to be on this planet still, because maybe they have unresolved issues, right? We may refer to them as ghosts and whatnot. They're seen, but their free will is so respected. Again, people don't realize to what degree our free will is respected, right? The free will is so respected that, you know, it may look like they're lost. It may look like no one's there to get them, but no, they're just not ready. They're not seeing it. If someone were to come and be like, "Hey, let me take you back," and they probably would be like, "No," right? So we have to remember that free will, sovereignty. So again, the idea is to move into greater responsibility, greater awareness of how you affect the very fabric of your own reality. Literally dreaming. You're literally dreaming. There are so many things that are in our languages that, because they don't fit into our modern ideology of what could be, that we just write it off as whatever. And we see this a lot with cave paintings, acting like people back in the day didn't know how to draw what they saw. Listen, he drew a helicopter on there because he saw a helicopter. He drew a big-headed person because he saw a big-headed person. Yeah, they're giants on those caves because that's how they were. You know, people keep thinking, oh, people in the past are idiots. They're making up these stories. And no, they are literally talking about what they saw and experienced. And they weren't idiotic. Okay. And so it's the same thing here when we hear things like, we're dreaming. This is a dream and this and that. People think, oh, that's so beautiful. That's a really beautiful metaphor for life. And no, sometimes you just can't see how real that is. Oh, the meek shall inherit the earth. Oh, that's so sweet. I mean, the meek can't even order, something over the phone because they're too afraid to be on. Listen, who said that that's what it meant? What if the meek shall inherit the earth was like a dire heads up for people like, hey, if you're running around this place stomping around like you own stuff and you're crushing other people and their hearts and stuff, what if one day the vibration of the earth really does split and then we create two different paradigms where there are two simultaneous earths from a higher perspective occurring, and you're on one of those, but you ain't on the other one. And one of those is just not as fun as the other, right? We don't know. So sometimes we take for granted. What if they say everything is one? Like you're me and I'm you. And we're like, that's so funny because you're you and I'm me. Because you don't realize it because from your perspective, you deathly cannot see the reality of that situation. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. You can't see it because you don't understand it, right? But just because you don't understand something doesn't mean it's not the reality. So if you want to be out here every lifetime kind of, doing you, do you. But just remember that there are ways that you can really move in this world by in order to really effect positive change for yourself, to clean up the vibration around you. When you clean up the vibration on the inside and moving outside, when you clean up the vibration on the inside, when you start to get clear, when you start founding your beliefs on the virtues, and the guides have been dropping the B word, beatitudes, right? Remember, if you watched the last video, I was like, what are they again? And I had to go off and look at it a little bit. Yeah. Remember, when we're told things sometimes, a lot of times we're trying to make spirit make it make sense to us. Like, listen, I hear what you're saying, but you're going to have to bring it down and you're going to have to speak to me nice. You're going to have to tell me the way that I understand. No. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. Remember back in the day when, you come face to face with some major master and you're like, please tell me, what is it that I need to do to, blah, blah, blah. And then the master's like, go home and make peace with your father. You're like, no. Everyone's like, no, on this call, right? Or be with your mother and father. And you're like, no, I have real things I need to do. I run a corporation of 500 people who need, and the person's like, I'm done. I already told you what you need to do. Now you're asking me to use other words that don't make sense. So you're asking me to come down to your level to make you understand something because you don't want to get into a place of ideological flexibility. You want to stay in defensiveness and you don't want to hear what you need to hear because you still need to find the time to make it make sense to you. Now, when these truths are told to us, remember, again, one of the main messages the guides have been saying since November, you do not need to be mistreated, degraded, raked across the coals in order to be told something that can change your life. Always remember that. You are not dumb. You are not stupid. You are not hard-headed. You're not a loser. You don't need to learn the hard way. All of this stuff you may be telling yourself because you've been conditioned into feeling that way, and that conditioning is laced with self-punishment, and that may not even come from this lifetime alone. It's from some other lifetime, and you've been carrying it with you. And that shows you need to heal that part of you. So please move off from that idea. What you need to focus on instead is understanding that I just need to be open. And if something's told to me and I don't understand it yet, then it's my job to get myself to that place. I don't understand. What do you mean I made myself sick? What do you mean I caused my eviction? What do you mean I did this and that's why my marriage did not? How dare you? Yes, you can feel the feelings, but if you take a moment and you really, really try to be open to that idea and ask the universe to show you how, you may be surprised how information just floods in. In fact, look at all this point where you are. All the information's flooding in to show you how powerful you are. And this is where the lens comes in, because all this stuff isn't coming in to show you what a loser you are. That's never going to come through my channel, and it's never going to come through spirit. It's coming in to show you how powerful you are as a creator, as a dreamer, and how loved you are. You're so loved and you are so respected as a sovereign being that what you choose to have as your experience, spirit is allowing it. And guess who's by your side? Your guardian angel. Whether you listen or not, they're here. They're along for the ride. Multiple lifetimes riding with you. Okay? And just listen, when you're ready, they're like, oh snap, they ready. And guess what? They come, right? They come to assist. Weren't we talking about the owl energy recently? Owl energy is among us right now. And right now we're being asked to observe. Remember, in your physical environment, you have manifestations of all these old patterns, these old now moments, all of that you've already put into place. You know, that's why the bank account looks like that. And that's why your marriage looks like that. And that's why, you know, or your lack of anybody in your life looks like that, right? Feeling seen, hashtag dragged, right? But at the same time, you also have manifestations of new energy coming in. And depending on how open you are and how much you have a belief in change and the inconceivable and how much you believe you deserve, you are going to either see no evidence of these things, because some people just can't appreciate the goodness that comes into their life. So they literally can't see how they're being blessed, right? Or you may really love yourself and believe you're worthy of all this. So you start to see the signs everywhere. You're like, oh yes, it's coming. It's not here yet, but I know it's coming, right? Look at this card. Remember this card was a jumpy one that it just can't stay still. Yeah, it's coming. That's the excitement you have to have without attachment to the outcome. So your job at this time is to observe what of what I'm seeing in my life makes me feel good and what doesn't. If it's stuff that you don't like, hey, then I'm not even going to focus on it. I'm going to focus on what I believe is coming in, because I know that what I believe is what I see. It's not the other way around. I need to see and then I believe. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It makes sense on earth, but it doesn't make sense from an energetic perspective, because nothing can ever, ever, ever take form in the physical that is not first existing in a non-physical, right? Speak on it. They're like, okay, we're doing it. We're trying, okay? Whew. You guys getting us all riled up. Us meaning me. The others are like probably sitting neatly in the corner of the room, like, okay. They're saying grief. You see how this grief came out upside down? Does it? Yeah, it wants to stay upside down. It's like grief is one of the biggest detractors from your life. Grief is one of the biggest detractors from your life because it is so heavy and it is so hopeless and filled with helplessness, and understandable, because grief, you know, whether it's for what others may perceive to be a small thing or whether it be a really large thing, it's just the nature of it is just so filled with fear, lack of trust, missing, abandonment energy, all of this. It's just like the mother load of all that can really tank a ship. And so Spirit is saying, if you struggle with knowing where to start in your life, in cleaning things up, one beautiful way that you can start is by looking at what things in your life, in your present moment, you don't even have to go into the past in this lifetime or in past lifetimes, because all that stuff that is plaguing you and stuff, it's still present in your present moment, right? Because it's your vibration, it's in your vibrational space. And so if you can connect to something that makes you sad or makes you feel uncomfortable or whatever, and you really start to feel into that, make that be your work. See how it's sitting on top of the hunter? Oh my gosh. Okay, stop. Stop moving. My Virgo energy keeps trying to straighten it, but it's like trying to, thank you. Right? We see you, excitement. We see you. But see, it's right on top of the hunter because it's connected to this card. Remember where they were like this, you want to like get out there and hunt and you want to do your thing, but it's not quite time yet. You're antsy. So Spirit is saying, in the meantime, why don't you tackle some of the things that could be holding you back from your firm, they're saying, from your firm expression. Why are they saying firm? For somebody here, that may actually have to do with some type of energy that's going on in your workspace. Now, I do see some of you are trying to embark on something. Spirit is going to send somebody in to kind of buffer you, send you back into taking care of business, because some of you are feeling so antsy that you want to take a little bit of a side quest, just as I pulled the Lover's card. So don't get distracted right now. Remember, the devil makes, and I'm just saying the devil, I'm not saying he's real or she's real or it's real. I'm not here to make any commentary on that because it's not featured in here, but the saying, the devil makes work for idle hands, right? So, oh my God, stop. First of all, why the hell do they got, why does he have to look so good? I'm so sorry, how unprofessional, but listen, he looking good on here, okay? This is too much. This is a cartoon. This is a thing. Like, we need to not make these pictures look so appealing, okay? But that being said, because we're moving on from that conversation there, look at this. Weren't we just talking about the devil makes work for idle hands? Now, I'm not going to not point this out. I'm not going to not point this out, meaning double negative. I am going to point this out. Why does this devil look like the same person depicted on the Fool card, the New Beginning card? Listen up, y'all. Some of you are trying to make your new beginning right now. You're trying to move forward, but you're getting antsy. And then boom, in comes somebody. Weren't the guides just talking about this? The guides have been blowing up the channel recently about somebody coming in. Could be new face, same old energy. Could be old face, same old energy. All right? And somebody asked me, well, does this mean we have to, that it's for reals going to be somebody bad, and like whoever pops up, we have to like show that we can say no? I was kind of getting it's that way, but remember, that's the realm of a personal reading. It really depends on your thing. What if this is somebody that is coming, a new person that is a mix with the higher energies and whatever, but they have those elements of those old energies that you have no business talking to, right? And that's when it's really hard, when this one, he has a job, but he also is a liar like the last one, whereas the last one had no job and was a liar, right? But listen, yeah, he's half and half, but either way, are you okay with being with a liar? Let's ask, what's the toxicity? Because no one's perfect. But what we are looking for is that your imperfections and another person's imperfections do not get in the way of either of your ability to progress for the better, okay? Because we're looking for progress. If someone's stopping you from progressing along your life because of their imperfection, what are we doing? I don't care if he looks like this. I care a little bit, but I don't care that much, okay? Not enough to stop my progress, okay? Now, if somebody eats cookies in bed and they leave crumbs, not a big deal. If someone spends all their money and then sneaks some of yours from your bank account without telling you, big deal. I don't care if this person's name is Adonis. What are we doing? Okay? So that's what we need to look at. What's the toxicity? Now the guides are saying with this element that comes in, this could be a game changer, right? Now this element that comes in could be coming in, they're coming in with wolf energy. Guides have been talking about the wolf energy coming in Aquarius energy to teach you a lesson. This is a karmic thing. It's an agreement on some level to say, hey, have you learned a lesson? And we are always having these things come at us, by the way. But sometimes we're just so not a vibrational match to it that it just falls off our back. Like, oh, okay, some guy, I'm not interested in him. Well, phew, you dodged that one because he took the last person for a ride. Well, it doesn't matter because he's just not my type. Cool. You already learned that vibration, you're not there, right? And sometimes you cannot see the writing on the wall. You see it, you don't care. This person, you're just all up in it because you cannot say no. That's definitely a sign that you have to learn some more of this lesson. Because if you had learned the lesson, you would just not be interested or you'd be turned off. It'd just be like, no, there's something about him, no, right? But what's so dangerous, they're saying, is right now, this energy that's coming in to test you or to give you an assessment. This is an assessment, not anything on any punitive stuff, right? It's on assessing, like, hey, this is just a way to let you know what you still need to work on. Notice when I represent Spirit's voice, it's very matter of fact, like, hey, we're sending this person to just to let you know how you're doing, and you let us know, and we'll be watching anyway, and bye, boop, at the end of the message. If this entity, whatever, makes you completely forget what you're trying to accomplish, what are we doing? If this person pulls you into a side quest and you're trying to, what are you doing? If you start questioning yourself and your self-worth and now you're doing what are you doing? Right? So this is the thing. And maybe you dip in a little bit and then you realize, oh my God, I'm doing it again. All right, get out. Now you get out. And you knew it was a what are you doing moment, and then you realized what you were doing and you were like, oh, whoopsies, whoopsie doodles, I'm done, bye. But if you can't even see it, even worse if you see it but you're like, I can't say no, right? This is the assessment. So that's the warning, that's the caution, that's the advisory. The guides put out these things. I try to keep up with the moon readings every few days and it's happening a lot, right? But they're bombarding us through the daily channeled messages. They're telling us through the monthly messages. They are letting us know here. And now we're going to be putting out astro reels, and I'm doing it every 2 weeks. I'm so tempted to do it every week, but I'm so busy and I just don't want to fall off the bandwagon. So every 2 weeks, so go back and check these energies. The messages are there. You cannot say, Jay didn't let me know. No, Jay done let you know a few times because they let me know. And they're really talking to me because these are for me. And so I'm sharing with you because we're all in the same collective, okay? I'm just trying to help. The help is being tried, right? So Spirit is saying, don't get confused just because you're alone on this path for this moment that you put yourself on. You purposefully put yourself on this path so you can do better and be about better. You're on a new path. Honor that. See how she's like out taking time out from the pool to lounge in front of the moon. Beautiful. And her name's Celine, like the moon. That's the moon's name, right? And look at this mirroring, the hermit with the staff. Look, the staff there. Spirit is like, take this time to honor yourself. Just because you're being asked, like the rest of the collective, to take a little time out, let Mars rev up again. Mars is just getting out from having several seats. Can he get on his legs again before we're trying to bust out? We're feeling a little antsy. We're feeling a little frustrated. We get it. We get it. Mercury's messing around right now. We get it. But that is not an excuse to go willy-nilly, giving our idle hands to somebody. Okay? Let's focus on the Empress energy, male, female, gender, non-conforming. Look at how she's moving forward with the Six of Swords now. So we're going to go ahead and move this Knight of Swords, fast-moving communication off to the side. along with the devil. Boom, because we have just spoken. Oh, look at this, the Knight of Swords with the Knight of Wands. What are we doing? This fast moving energy, someone coming in or some opportunity coming in, just trying to make a mockery of what you've been trying to do. And it's fast. Some of you it may come through a family member. Oh God, for some of you it may be a family member. Spirit is saying, think for yourself, do for yourself, be about yourself right now. This is a time to focus on you. And in fact, see how we replace that with the Empress? Look at you, super cute, male, female, gender non-conforming. And look at you here. Looks like the same person. She's like, I replaced my mind with what I should be. Focusing on me and my bounty. And moving forward. Okay, look, guys, don't play. Don't play. Yeah. Now, what you're moving towards, of course, you have no idea. But guess what? The work that you've done, see his staff, is now in the ring. This Two of Wands, we don't know how it's going to go. But the fact that you took the steps that you've been taking to really move forward, to do your best, guess what? Now it's one of the great options in your life. And look at this other thing. It looks very similar to this. So whatever you've been creating is going to be able to get off the ground. You're going to be able to launch this. You really, really will. Just don't push anything right now, okay? Temperance card, yes. Slow down. That's what the Temperance card said. Slow down on all of this. God is so good. They're like, let the ink dry. Let the swords be finished, that from the Ten of Swords, representing the closing of a major, major, major karmic cycle that was very painful. Let the swords, let the wounds heal a bit. The Star card, yes. When we have the Star card and the Temperance card coming in together to do some work, oh my God, the Four of Wands, guys. I can't, I have to go. Nine of Coins, independence, as if to say, you need to focus on you, be about yourself. Temperance is coming in to right your mind. This is the Wolf energy. The Wolf energy comes in to remind you, hey, what are you doing? Hey, you're like, hey, Wolf, is that you? Wolf's like, yeah, hey, what are you doing out here? You're like, oh, I was just heading out to meet up with a couple of friends. I had some time on my hands, and card one, right? Yellow card. Yeah, I had some time on my hands, and I've been feeling a little antsy, and so I just thought I'd go out for a few drinks, kind of hang, whatever. And it gets silent because Wolf's looking at you like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's after 9. You're heading out now? What are you, 22? What are you doing? Where are you going? Why? Who are you hanging out with? And you're like, oh, just ABCD. Weren't those the same people that you just were crying about the other day? You're like, yeah, but I'm bored, Wolf. I'm just bored. Like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? And Wolf just looks at you. I you can't see my expression, but look at my hand. He's just looking at you like, and then okay, my bad. And then you take off your platforms. You're like, I'm sorry, I don't know what I was doing. Let me go back inside. Yeah, I'm doing too much. 9 of Swords, DTM, doing too much. Get back to Knight of Pentacles, okay? Getting your work done. Sometimes your work, my friends, is to rest. Sometimes your work is to do nothing. That's it. There's actually a book called Do Nothing. It's written from a neuroscientific standpoint, but it's awesome. And it's talking about how doing nothing can change your life. We have ideas of productivity here in the United States, and maybe in some of the countries you guys are watching, that are just so unhealthy. If you're always doing, and I speak for myself because I do have that Capricorn South Node. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. But if we're always doing, where do we allow ourselves to be in a state of being, and to have room and time and space for others to enter, and all sorts of stuff, and for inspiration to hit, right? So anyway, as I check the time, because I do have to go back to work after this. Oh. Well, those 40 hours ain't gonna do themselves, come on. Come on, right? But that being said, Spirit is saying they're so proud of you, because look at those 2 staffs, boing, boing, those 2 staffs, your creativity, what you've been doing for yourself, and the time you've been giving yourself to be about yourself. Look, 1 and 2, they're there amidst these other options, but I have my eye on that golden option. Because I feel like Spirit is like, let me put something in there. I'm like, do you, Spirit? Right. This is what happens when we take right action. And the Buddha loves that middle way. Right action is all about balance, right? When we learn to take right action, when we fix our core beliefs, first of all, we change what's in our tank, what's driving us. And then we create a love-based foundation upon which we can have love-based purpose in life. We can have love-based thoughts that come as a result. We can have love-based feelings. We can have love-based gut reactions. We may choose to say love-based words, and we take love-based actions. It all stems from what your core beliefs are. And if you're not familiar with the work of core beliefs, please do just head over to Google, do your best, and do your best. Do your best to type. Do your best, type in core beliefs, dear God. YouTube's great, another source. Books, I love books, right? Get on it and understand. As a reader, a reader, healer, whatever, energy worker, I can see those core beliefs in your energy field. They're there. If it's not loving, it's a block. Because it's fear-based. And fear isn't real. It's basically you having a misperception. Because your core misperception is that fear is a real thing. But only love is real, as A Course in Miracles teaches us. When we're here on this planet, all we're doing is working to clear up these distortions, these misperceptions. And once we fix that octane, once we want that engine, once we start cleaning things up, we start to see different. The gift that the wolf is going to be giving us during this time, I believe the guides had said over the next 4 days, 3 to 4 days, it's going to be quick, is going to be cleaning up your perception about something. And that cleaning up of your perception is going to basically be a miracle, because A Course in Miracles reminds us that a miracle is merely a change in perception. And that, the result of that, God bless you, is going to be a reminder of two things. Number one, who you are. And number two, what you came here to accomplish. Case in point. So this is destiny all written on it. But if you're splitting your energies right now and falling for whatever trap this is, anybody trying to come back in, or energies trying to come back in, whether you're wearing the new face or not. Could be an opportunity, could be a person, could be whatever. Then guess what? You're just messing with your ability to move into your greatness. And if that's the hill you want to die on, I mean, do you, but it's not the one I would want to die on, right? So be mindful. All right. Anyway, so thank you so much, spirit guides. Okay, guys, if you guides, spirit guides, our team, they're here. And thank you so much to all of you guys, because you guys in the non-physical are totally here. I feel you. And so then later you're going to be watching this video, right? see how the now moments are coming together. I'm saying now because it's in my now, but by the time you watch it, it's going to be in your now, and I will been in the past. But when I'm doing this, it's in your past, because the fact that I'm able to do this in the physical means it's already happened on a non-physical plane. So what are we doing out here, guys? We just have to go with the flow and remain open to being moved in the right direction. When we're open to being moved in the right direction, meaning the direction of our highest good, knowing that our highest good is also the highest good for others, it's like it's like the train track for you adjusts. And then things like this video and all sorts of other things, people, places, things, situations, ideas can come in and be built upon here. But when you start splitting your energy, the track's like, now it's like in two different places, and now we're vying for manifestation. And now you're manifesting from all over the place. So singleness of purpose right now is very important, okay? If you enjoyed this reading, or just want to say thank you, God bless you, please go ahead and hit the like button or the heart button. And if you'd like a personal reading with me or an energy healing session with me, please do go ahead and check out the listings that we have. Later this month, I will be changing some of the listings. We still gonna have some goodies, but I will be adding some new ones. And of course, I'm going to be changing the prices as well. And I'm just debating whether to get everything done, when to do it, because January is a little bit of a tricky month energetically. A lot is going on. But either way, it's been my pleasure to work with you guys and to service you. And God bless you. Okay, go forth and conquer. Mwah. Bye.